Dwayne Williams here, and of course, Gerard and myself will have membership. So we're going to give a small introduction and let you know who we are. Um, of course, most people already know I am retired U.S. Army military. I came to the Rotary in a small southern town in Granite City, Illinois, and I'm a current member of Fishhawk Riverview Rotary Club. I've been a Rotary member for 17 years.
And it's great to be here with all of you. I'm Gerard Sola, DMC for 6960. And as you'll see from these two pictures, I guess I'm the second best looking DMC for our two districts. And I'm excited to share some information with you tonight, again, as a high level for you to be able to present to the presidents. Take it away, Dwayne.
Gotcha. What we're looking at here is a slide of Paul Harris, 1935, and what he says, the world is a changing world, and the world still so is changing. There are many things that has changed and it will do so continuously. In 1935, polio was still around, and today, we're looking at multiple type of pandemics that can happen when you talk about the flu, Ebola, and now we're looking at COVID-19. Communicating wasn't easy in 1935 also. You were looking at probably mail, phones, maybe occasional teletype. I'm quite sure they were still around. But things have gotten a little bit better in 2020. We have a multitude of media which we can, connect and communicate and talk to one another. Email, text, Zoom, WhatsApp, I can name a lot more. Also, we had in meetings, but of course, some of our in meetings were cut short because of the COVID environment. New technology is now, of course, connecting us. What we're looking at here is the benefits of Rotary membership, and there are quite a few. Effecting change within a community, there are so many ways to do that, and one of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to, kind of grab someone by the hand and tell them what they have to do. You can look around, and there are, like Deborah said earlier, there are things that you can do locally. There are local activities that are going on, club activities. There are a lot of other ways also to meet people and bring new members into Rotary. Advancing advancing business is also one of those things too. When you look at advancing business, you're talking about, for instance, Rotary is not a networking group, but that Rotarian sitting beside you, however, might be have his own business, a job, and he may or she may have a service that you can use. So Rotary benefits all, one, and Rotary benefits all. When you talk about leadership skills, Rotary also offers those also, regardless of what position you may have, or either you take in the Rotary Club, whether it's president, PE, whether it's treasurer, secretary, there are a multitude of jobs there which will allow you to improve your leadership skills and also your speaking skills. Gaining an understanding of and having an impact on international humanitarian issues or either projects. You know, I'm not going to try to state what each and every club may have, but clubs know what projects they have, and that allow you to get out and about and internationally and help other people. But in this period we're in now, like we stated, a lot of those activities can be used here at home. Also, Rotary opens opportunities. There are many opportunities for you to share and enjoy Rotary. And one of those things is meeting people. Friends in Rotary. What we're looking at and friends in Rotary is the fact is that there are a multitude of things that goes on. Friends in Rotary can be one or two or three things that you can more or less concentrate on. Business relationship, professional growth, personal growth. The biggest thing I think is engagement. There are many, many, many ways that you can engage other people, bring people into the atmosphere of Rotary. One of the things I like to look at more or less is, you wear that hat, you wear that pin, and it strikes a conversation, and also it heightens that impact when you're talking to someone within the community, within the store, or wherever. Community relations, I need not say any more about that. I'm not going to grab your hand and got you on that. Community occasions is important. And that's one thing that you might want to look at developing even more. For many Rotary, it's a lifetime to socialization.
It's definitely so important for each one of our clubs to ensure that we're all offering as many of these items that you see to our members as possible. Each and every club member is not the same, and each has different passions or areas of focus that they're all passionate about. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is one of the most important aspects of what makes clubs thrive. It's especially true as it relates to the vocational makeup of club members. A club with 50 attorneys is not as exciting as a club where each and every member has a different background and different experiences and can bring different things to the clubs. Having vocational diversity as just one example ensures that the projects and programs that we're all taking part in are that much more powerful and impactful. We need to ensure that the club venue, our time that we're meeting, and the meeting structure is most effective for our members. If our members aren't engaged in our meetings, then there's no doubt we're going to lose them. We also need to ensure that everyone's passion, their ideas, their strengths, they're heard and they're utilized across the board. We should always be surveying our members to ensure that our club, the projects and programs that we're doing each and every year, that it's pulling at their heartstrings, and we're not simply just standing up in front of our club at the beginning of the year and saying it's time to do this project again, and everyone nods their head, and it's just because we were doing it for years past, and it might not be a passion of the members in the club anymore. So making sure that we're surveying those club members and we're delivering to those members the projects and programs and environment that they want and that are pulling at their heartstrings is one of the most important things. We always need to reevaluate our clubs to make sure that we're hitting on all cylinders across the board. When it comes to membership, we need to find the best potential new members who will drink the Rotary Kool-Aid and who will be engaged. Too often, we get tied up with just trying to hit numbers of how many new Rotarians we want in our clubs. Yes, numbers are important, but we need to make sure that we're bringing in quality over quantity. We need to make sure that we're vetting all of our prospects, ensuring that they're the right fit for our club's makeup, our club's culture, the meeting time, making sure they understand the passion and the projects, the programs that we're doing, to make sure that it's going to be a fit for them. If we spend the time up front to make sure that we're getting to know them better, we might find that our club is not the right fit for them, and we might see that they might be a right fit for another club in our area. So bringing on the right people will clearly make our club stronger.
Can everybody hear me okay? My wife said I sound a little bit muffled. So can everybody hear me okay? Anyway, attracting new members. Prospective members are people who probably don't know anything about the club. So when you're bringing someone into the club, that's very important. You want to introduce them. As a matter of fact, and introducing someone to the club, they don't have to become a member right away. Just come to our club, sit down, enjoy a meeting, a little fellowship, a meal, if you have a breakfast, lunch, or dinner club, and you can go from there. It's always important to make the individual or individuals feel comfortable. Relocating or returning members. These are members who may have left the club, gone somewhere, moved out of the area, and you will find someone will return. And what they would do is they would probably want to get back into club meetings in the club they were in, or they may want to go to another club. It just depends on the people and the members, or either new members, on how they want to come back into that sphere of Rotary. Also, member referrals. It is very important to follow up on those because we don't want to have a prospective member out there. We don't follow up on the referral, and that possible member becomes disinterested and decides to not join Rotary, or either to join another organization that will come to them at a heartbeat when they are inquiring about joining up. You will find too that during this COVID period that a lot of people have been getting out, giving up their time and donating their time and trying to help others. It's going to be I would say it's going to be, look, I would say easy, but Once this period is over, you're going to have people who are going to be looking for other areas to help in the local community. So that would be another way of probably picking up new members or either referrals. I don't need to talk long on these. So when you're talking these, a lot of us are, as Rotarians, already know about traditional E-Club, satellite, veterans-based, cause-based, alumni-based, corporate, and Rotary Interact. Traditional, of course, these are clubs that meet breakfast, lunch, or dinner. E-Club, they meet online. If you're in a traditional club, you can do a makeup at an E-Club, or you can do a makeup at a satellite club. A satellite club is normally a satellite from an additional club that meets on a different day, okay, in the evening, or either sometimes it can be at noon. These are for members who cannot make the traditional club meetings due to family obligations or work or what have you. When you're looking at veterans-based club, that doesn't necessarily mean military. That can be a police officers, that can be firefighters, anything like that. I think in Granite City they had two such clubs like that. One was based around firefighters and another around police officers. Cause-based club. Cause-based club could be anything related to any kind of catastrophe that happens in the world, flood, hurricanes, or what have you. You have certain groups that get together and they travel to these locations to try to help out or to help out. Alumni-based clubs can sometimes be different. You're talking about RYLA, RYE. They could be church groups or, again, military groups. Corporate speak for itself, and then you have Rotary Interact. However, with Rotary, remember you have two subgroups to that, and that would be college and also community.
So team, one of the things that was important to Andy and Deborah was to make sure that we're providing all of you some tools that you can utilize, not only as you look at your overall area and the clubs in your area, but for you to be able to share with the president-elects as you train them to look at their own clubs. One of the things I should have mentioned also in my introduction is that I am currently an AG right now in our district for my area. So I learned some of these, and I'm currently living the dream that you're all about to live as well. So Grow Rotary, www.growrotary.org. If you haven't visited this website, you absolutely should. And these slides will be made available to you. I will email Deborah these final slides to you after this so you can share them. Growrotary.org, first and foremost, to log on to that website, it is the exact same username and password that you utilize to log on to My Rotary. Now, growrotary.org is an absolutely fantastic tool, not only for Andy and Deborah, not only for Dawn and myself, but for you and the presidents, and even more importantly for you and the presidents. We even in our district, 6960, have a club innovation member on my district membership team whose role is to look at how to grow clubs and how to create new clubs. So what growrotary.org is, it is a system that gives you the ability to deep dive into each one of your individual areas. So you'll see on this screen that, for example, I pulled up District 6960, and now it gives you an ability to look into how many members are in each area, how many clubs. It will give you the population of each area. It will show you, as you hover over each area, how many Rotarians live in each one of the areas. So as you deep dive into this tool, it's going to give you some phenomenal statistics and the ability to say, wow, way out here in this area, there's one Rotary club, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but you can see that there may be 50 Rotarians living in this area. You may see that based on the population, the makeup, that this might be a perfect area to start an afternoon club or an evening club to continue to grow and advance Rotary. So growrotary.org is a great tool that you should take an opportunity to go and log on and to look around in. And if for some reason you have an issue getting in, let Deborah or Andy know, and they can definitely assist you. And we can absolutely, Dawn and myself, provide additional training to you on this at another time. Now, managing membership leads is also something that's very critical, and it's also another tool that we utilize in both districts. I know for sure in District 6960. So membership leads, what happens is when there is somebody that's a prospect that goes on to the Rotary website, and fills out a form and says, I'd like to learn more about Rotary, what happens is an email gets kicked out. And in District 6960, just as an example, the email gets kicked out to the district governor, to the DMC, to the executive secretary, and every single assistant governor. The email is pretty straightforward. It's going to say that there's an individual in this area that has requested information on Rotary. What happens is you now follow a process. So specifically speaking to District 6960, we have a process where the assistant governors receive that email. The assistant governor whose area, for example, is Marco Island, who covers those clubs, they're responsible to reach out to that individual. They're responsible to have an initial conversation and ask that individual a couple questions. What are your passions? Are you interested in morning, afternoon, evening? To make sure that they then have the ability to pair that prospect up with the right club. The great thing about membership leads is right from that individual, that email, you now can assign that lead to a club when you find the best club that you want that Rotarian, that prospect to visit. That immediately kicks out a notification to the club president and that club membership chair for them to reach out to that individual, invite them to a meeting, make sure they have the contact information. More importantly, make sure that they know when that individual is showing up so they can be there to greet that individual. Then, as you follow the process, you get to then follow up with the club as an AG, make sure that that individual visited. And in the system, you then have the ability to make sure that you can assign that prospect is now a Rotarian assigned to that club, or move that prospect to a different club to go and visit a different club. There's really just a straightforward process, and each district can do it differently. I believe as Dwan and I are working together on this, teaming up, our process will look pretty similar for the AGs. District receives the email, the AG or the president, the club's membership chair will reach out to that contact, invite that member, and then make sure that you're following up with that member. So as an AG, you will be a part of receiving these leads. And when you get these leads, Andy and Deborah are going to make sure on a monthly basis that there are no leads that are unassigned, that there are no leads that are not followed up on, or else it's going to be Dwan and my heads that will roll, and we'll be reaching out to you to make sure that you know that they're going to be something that you have to look into.
Membership planning. I mean, membership planning, of course, you want to continue to assess your club. One of the things you want to do is to have a goal for both membership development and retention. You want to make sure that you close that back door. You don't want members leaving your club inadvertently. You want to have some type of a retention plan. Most clubs would like to see their members, at least the members, membership maintained at anywhere between 80, 85, maybe 90%. Sometimes that may be impossible. It's just something that you have to work a little bit more harder to do. Okay, have a plan to achieve the goals. What are your plans? How many new members do you want to bring into your club by the end of the year? Are you looking at 6, 8, 12? One of the things, depending on the size of your club, you don't want to I guess you could, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't want to plan over the number that you can actually bring into your club. Start out at a smaller number, 6 to 8, or maybe 4 to 6, and you have nowhere to go but to exceed that number of people that you can bring in, or members you can bring in at the end of that year. Any number is great. Also, you might want to look at having I guess you can say, a membership drive on one of your assembly days. Get your Rotary members to bring someone in just to visit the club for lunch, breakfast, dinner, or what have you, to see exactly what you're doing. In the club, membership chairs align with goals. One of the things you want to look at, in fact, is that there are a lot of ways that you can go when you're talking about goals. For instance, there are bi-weekly activities that go on, weekly activities. Also, you want to make sure that you get information out there. You don't want to, more or less, I guess you can say, you want to prioritize. You want to look at the who, what, when, where, why, and how when you're coming up and when you're planning for an activity or something. Conduct a club survey during one of your assembly days, hopefully. Ask your club members what's going on. Come up with some type of a list. There's, I mean, one size doesn't fit all. I guess you can say, you can juggle these priorities. Assessing each one of the clubs is critical. You want to make sure that your club is assessed. That's not a proper way, but you can feel that out by working with your PE or either with your president, assistant president. Strategies for development. There are many, and so I'm not going to take too long on this slide, but study your members' vocations. What's going on in the club. You should try to think outside the box and also say what's right for them, what's right for my club. Review your club meetings and also your club environment. Is that environment right for your club? I know that in some clubs they might move around to 2 or 3 locations until they find the right environment. Review your dues structure, update and create new ones. You know, Prioritize. For your club events, projects, and fun. Family, family, family is one of those things that you want to continue to bring into that area. And the last, if you service your community as a leader, integrity, diversity, and fellowship will follow. Those, of course, are your core values. Again, I will say, think outside the box. Every club member is their own club membership committee. Just don't look at yourself as a club member. When you go out, look at bringing members in. What about terminated members? Review that list. Go over the list and find out what members have we lost, has kind of eased out the back door. Give them a call, and find out what they're doing. Is there anything going on? Do you want to come back for lunch? Hey, listen, I'll pay your lunch for you on that day. There are many, many, many things that you can do to bring people back. You don't want to improvise, you want to publicize, okay? And when I say that, you want to use that media that is available to you. You want to use Twitter, you want to use Facebook, you want to use anything to get the word out there. What a lot of people are now using WhatsApp, which seems to be a very, very good medium. Lastly, AGs can exchange ideas. AGs can prioritize. Whatever you want to do, membership planning offers new opportunities. Play it by ear. It's not hard.
One of the things that one program that Andy and Deborah asked us to just take a moment and talk about is a new program that we actually just launched this year in our district, 6960. It's called the Rotarianship Program. And I know that there's discussions to see how we can make sure that we continue this program. So what this is, and you're going to, as AGs, see a lot more of this being publicized and announced, it's an intern program that we're calling Roturns, or a Roturn program. So it's a 6960 initiative that's slated to fully launch in January, but we're soft launching it right now across this district. It was a unique idea where we're looking to engage younger members of our community, 18 to 29 years old, to provide a multitude of training opportunities, leadership programs, and really create a true mentorship opportunity. So what it is, it's a 16-week program. These people that come in, and what we're trying to do is have each club have one of these Roturns for 16 weeks to go through a program. What they get is they get a full 1-year membership to the Rotary Club. All of the Rotary training and modules and programs are made available to these Roturns, including our partnership with Toastmasters. They will have access to all of that as well. Additionally, based on those Roturns' vocation of interest, if you will, we want to create a mentorship program. So we want these young individuals to come in, and 2 weeks out of the 16 weeks, we're going to create a mentorship program. So whatever their vocation of interest is, we're going to find club members where these individuals can go and have real time on the job training with Rotarians in their businesses, because the ultimate goal of this program is not only to engage the younger community members, but to provide the valuable leadership and community training to them, and to utilize the existing members in our club of all ages to provide the mentoring experience and the guidance to these individuals. We believe that it's going to open doors, not only the doors of Rotary to them, but it's really going to teach them leadership skills. It's going to engage them immediately in the community with all of the people that they're going to meet in Rotary. And we really believe that if we can successfully take even one person who we can bring in under this program, and we can open a door to Rotary, we can help them get a job, we can have them see the value through a year-long, free membership to Rotary. Once they land a job, they're going to hopefully be Rotarians for life. So it's a new program we're rolling out that you're going to hear more from Andy and Deborah for sure. So we have 5 minutes left, and the last thing that I want to do is take you through a little exercise. And this is an exercise that you will have the ability to take your president-elects through. It's a very simple way to have them sit back and take the blinders off, and to have them view their club as if they were a prospect walking into their club. So if you can, just 2-3 minutes, if you can humor me, sit back and just clear your mind and put yourself in the position of a brand new prospective member walking into your club meeting for the first time. Obviously, with COVID, you might not have in-person club meetings, but for the sake of this exercise, picture yourself when you were meeting in person, because we're all going to meet back in person soon. So you are a prospective member, you're opening the front door to your club and you're walking in. What is the first thing that you see? Is there a table by the front door for you to walk up to? Is there someone there by the front door to welcome you as a prospect, as someone who knows nothing about Rotary? Or do you just walk in the front door and you have to go find somebody and say, "Hi, is this Rotary and what do I do?" After you pass the front door and maybe the table, if there is one, does someone take you and personally introduce you to the president, or perhaps the membership chair of the club? Or are you left to walk into the room on your own and seek out the first person that makes eye contact to you and walk up to them and shake their hand, and you're the one that has to initiate that conversation? When you look around the room, think about how it's set up. You walk in the room, you look at the big meeting space, wherever it is that you meet. Are there Rotary banners and signs that show off your club and show off all the great things that Rotary do and does? Is it a commingled room, or is it a restaurant where you're sharing space and it's loud and you're not sure even what part is Rotary and what part isn't? How are the tables set up? Is there a podium where the president or the speakers are going to speak? What is the makeup of the room? Is it inviting to you as a brand new potential prospect walking in? Does somebody in the club take you by the hand and bring you to a table, show you a seat, and introduce you to the rest of the people sitting at the table? Or when you walk into your club, do you have to find a table on your own, wait for the conversation to end, and then introduce yourself and ask if you can have a seat at that table? During the meeting, does your club president or perhaps the sergeant at arms announce guests and ask you to stand, state your name, take a minute to tell the club who you are? Why are you there? Are you a visiting Rotarian? Are you a business individual looking to join a club? Or do you just go through the entire meeting and you're just watching the meeting and watching a speaker? After the meeting, does the club membership chair or the president come up to you and shake your hand and thank you for attending? And do they ask you to come back for another visit? Or when the meeting ends, does everybody stand and walk away and you're left to your own device just to walk out the door? After a day or two, does someone from the club email or call you and thank you for attending the meeting, offer to answer any questions that you may have, and invite you back to another meeting? Or do you never, ever hear from that club again? And it just turned into a meal that you went to and you left, and you may have learned a little bit about Rotary, but you saw no fellowship, it wasn't inviting, and they didn't make a big deal that you're there. This exercise is something that I believe is really eye-opening, because if you take the time to really put yourself in this position, and as you train the PEs, put them in the position to look at their own club that they're about to take over in their year as president, where they can easily make changes to move a table, to have a greeter at the front door, to make sure somebody has that list of guests who are attending the meeting, and it's their job to thank every single one of them and then to follow up with them. It's all critical items to think about for your club. And without a doubt, Dwan and I both believe that if your club isn't set up in a way where it makes a prospective member who walks in the door feel welcome and inviting and included during the meeting or after the meeting, there is no chance whatsoever that they're ever going to come back for a second time to your club. There's probably a slim to none chance that they're ever going to go to a Rotary Club meeting again. So we only have one opportunity to make an impression, and the way that your club's set up, how inviting it is, and how you treat that prospect in that 1 hour opportunity that you have is really the only chance that you have to potentially get them interested to join your club. So we'll wrap up. One of the most important things that Dwan and I want to make sure that we pass along to you is the fact that we are here for you. We work for you. Any goal that you have for your area, any goal that your individual presidents put in Rotary Central, and there's my 30-minute timer, any goal that your presidents put in for their membership in Rotary Club Central, we want to make sure that they know that we're here. We want you as AGs, and you can pass along to the presidents, we want to be a part of the membership committees in the clubs. We want to know when there's an issue. We want to know when there's an opportunity for us to come in and present, a member of our district membership team to come in and present on any topic to make sure that we can help the clubs grow. We can make sure that we help them achieve their goals, and we can make sure that each one of our districts are adding members and we're superstars. Dwan?
You summed it all up, Gerard. I mean, what better way to make a club work than to ensure, that everybody that comes through that door is greeted properly. You don't want any new person or prospective member to just walk in and wander around. Please, please have somebody to greet that individual. Let's make them feel special the first time, and then follow up with an email or phone call.